The MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on the Noon News. I'm Andrea Lutz. One Montana city is welcoming Afghanistan refugees. We'll get to that story in a minute, but first. The 20-year war in Afghanistan is officially over, and the Taliban is once again in control. Here's today's leading look. Major General Christopher Donahue, commander of the 82nd Airborne, is the last American soldier to board a flight out of Kabul. Still, thousands of Afghan allies and even some Americans remain in the country. Billings hospitals are dealing with an influx in COVID-19 patients. 44 of them infected with the virus and 16 are in the ICU with half on ventilators. It's the most COVID-19 patients at the hospital since December. Billings clinic officials say for now they do have enough beds. Classes are back in sessions for schools across the state this week, but the school year began this week for thousands of students in Bozeman, even as the threat of the Delta variant of COVID continues to grow. Although summer travel has been slowing down, people are still planning to get away for Labor Day weekend. Bookings for domestic flights are up 53%. The most popular destinations this upcoming weekend include Las Vegas, Atlanta, and Denver. However, those traveling from the U.S. could get restrictions traveling to Europe. The European Union is recommending restricting all non-essential travel from the United States. But there may be fewer restrictions for Americans who are fully vaccinated. That's today's leading look.
Well, it is the last day of August, and August giving us a gut punch. Some of us getting the 1-2 punch, being hot today, and we're dealing with smoke. Let's take a look at those projected highs today. You can see where the cold front, though, we do have a cold front making its way through the area. You can see off to the west, northwest, we're starting to feel the effects already of that cold front, but not so much in terms of the central part of the region and off to the east and down in northern parts of Wyoming. Where is that front right now? Well, we project it to be right there. Now, it's going to make its way through the rest of the region tonight through tomorrow, so cooler temperatures on board for all of us. Another thing that's going to do is alleviate that smoke. You can see those areas there in the orange, really dense smoke, but you can see where the effects of that cold front will be coming in as it clears it out somewhat tomorrow. We'll take a look at that and the main forecast coming up here in just a bit.
If you can imagine arriving to this country coming from a place where almost always there's going to be some sort of trauma.
A refugee is defined as someone who flees their homeland in fear of persecution, according to Ayman Fahy, the deputy director of the International Rescue Committee in Missoula. Western Montana has welcomed 9 Afghan refugees who are a part of the federal government's special immigration visa program.
And these are people who have helped American efforts. So this includes people who served as interpreters, helping out our armed forces over there.
Part of the IRC's job is to ensure that refugees have the resources they need to have a successful resettlement. That includes job search, enrolling children in school, and housing, which is hard to come by these days in Missoula. The State Department and Department of Health and Human Services provide funding for resettlement organizations like IRC.
And basically we receive a set amount from those agencies per person that is resettled. Now that amount now is was a little inadequate because of the rising cost of living, particularly housing in Missoula.
Airbnb released a statement on August 24th saying they would provide housing for 20,000 Afghan refugees.
Again, Airbnb has been a wonderful partner, contributes throughout the country to our organization and to other resettlement agencies.
IRC in Missoula has helped about 400 refugees resettle in western Montana over the span of the past 5 years. From there, some leave to other parts of the nation, but the IRC has an 80% success rate in refugees becoming self-sufficient after 90 to 180 days of being stateside.
And again, that means they are on their own. They are paying for their rent. They are paying for their groceries and everything else. Paying for daycare if they have a child in daycare.
Fahy says that refugees are a huge part of the local economy once they are settled.
Currently, they are fulfilling a great need in terms of jobs.
The IRC in Missoula is urging community members to help welcome these refugees. If you would like to make a financial gift or a supply donation, you can head over to kpax.com for more details on that. However, a smile does go a long ways. In Missoula, I'm Hannah Hislop, MTN News.
Up next, Miller Robson is back in with a look at that statewide weather forecast, plus a massive donation coming to a top Montana university. We have the details for students on the way.
The MTN Noon News continues right after this.